Today's lesson is rational numbers. The objectives today are to identify and graph rational numbers and to evaluate fractions containing variables. Vocabulary 1. A rational number is any number you can write as a fraction where the denominator is not a zero. Example 1b. Show the next three fractions equivalent to each fraction. So if you look at example 1a, we have a half. To go from a half to 2/4, I multiplied each of those by 2. To get from 1/2 to 3/6, I multiplied it by 3. So I'm guessing the next ones that we are going to do is multiply by 4. So 4 times 1 is 4, and 4 times 2 is 8. Then 5. 5 times 1 is 5, and 5 times 2 is 10. And 6. 6 times 1 is 6, and 6 times 2 is 12. And that would be your next three equivalent numbers. 2/3. And then I turn it to negative 2 over negative 3. So to do that, I multiplied 2/3 by negative 1 each. I had negative 1 and negative 1. That would get me negative 2 over negative 3. The next they went to negative 2 times negative over negative 2. That would get me 2 times negative 2 would get me negative 4, and 2 times negative 3 would get me positive 3 would get me negative 6. So I'm guessing we're going to multiply by negative 3 next. Negative 3, we're multiplying by negative 3. This was by 4, 5, and 6 we multiplied. So we're going to multiply by negative 3 first. And negative 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Negative 3 times 3 is negative 9. Then if we're going in the same idea, so it's going to be multiplied by negative 4. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. And then our last number would be multiplied by negative 5. 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. 3 times negative 5 is negative 15. And here are your answers for the next one. Now, we have 1b. Write 3 equivalent fractions to each fraction. Now, I'm going to tell you to make it easy on me and for you when we do the homework answers. I would like you to multiply by 2 times 2 over 2. So I want you to do one where you do 2 over 2. Find out that answer. Then I want you to do your problem and 3 over 3. And then your problem and have it multiplied by 4 over 4. That will just be easiest for us when we answer the questions. So, 4 times 2 is 8, and 5 times 2 is 10. 4 times 3 is 12. 5 times 3 is 15. 4 times 4 is 16. 5 times 4 is 20. And these 3 are equivalent to 4/5 because I multiplied the top and the bottom by the same number. B, same idea. We're going to have negative answers this time. Again, I want you to use the same numbers right here. 2 over 2. 5/8 times 3 over 3. And 4 over 4. So it's going to be negative 10 over 16, negative 15 over 24, and negative 20 over 36. No, 32. Miss Carson did that wrong. 32. And there's your 3 equivalent fractions that you're going to do on your own. Please use 2 over 2, 3 over 3, and 4 over 4. You might want to go back to your notes when you do your homework. Okay. Now, here we're going to graph each rational number on a number line. So we're going to make a number line for each one of these. And how you're going to make the number line, I'm going to put a line. And we'll start with half. And you're going to put the two whole numbers that half goes between. So a half goes between 0 and 1. Okay, how many lines we have between the whole numbers depends on your denominator. Denominator's the bottom one. And what you're going to do is do the denominator minus 1. So, for this one, it's 2 minus 1 equals 1. So I'm going to have one line between 0 and 1. And I need to split it evenly. So I'm going to split it halfway right here. And that will be your half. And there's your answer for A. Okay, so let's try it on B. You have your line. And negative 4/10 is between, this time it's between 0 and negative 1. And we need to find out how many lines that we need to put between 0 and negative 1. So we're going to look at your denominator and subtract 1 to it. So I need 9 lines in between. Let's see if I can do it on the first try. And you want to make them halfway even throughout the whole thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. Sounds good. Looks good to me. Okay. Now, to find out the negative 4/10, I'm going to start with 0, and it's telling me I'm going to go 4 to the left. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to put my point there, and that is negative 4/10. All right, let's try C. This time it's a whole number. So you start with 0, and it's a negative 2. So I'm going to go negative 1, negative 2. Okay, show me something. Give me some idea how close it is to 0, on what side of 0 it is. And then you put a point on it. D. I am going to turn this decimal into a fraction. Well, most of us call it negative 0.2, but we want to say it in the correct mathematical term, which is negative 2/10. So I'm going to turn it into negative 2/10. And if you want to, so there's two ways you can do this, or I'll do that later. Let me do it the 2/10 way first. So you're going to write a line, draw a line, and you're going to, negative 2/10 is between 0 and negative 1, And I'm going to find out how many lines I need. So I'm going to go 10 minus 1, which equals 9. So I'm going to have 9 lines again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And again, we're starting with 0. And we're going to go over 2. 1, 2. And so your point is going to be at 2/10, -2/10. The other way you can do it is you can reduce it. -2/10 can be -1/5. So if I did that, I'm going to do my line. And again, it's still between 0 and -1. But this time, the lines, I need 5 minus 1 equals 4. So there are going to be 4 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, I'm starting with 0. And I need to only go over 1. So here it is. It's -1/5. So either one of those will work. You can even put down 0.2, 0.2. for it instead of the fractions. Either way will be fine. 3. Evaluate. It also means substitute. So it says A equals 6 and B equals -5. Write in simplest form, which means find the answer. So A equals 6, so I'm going to plug in 6, and B equals -5. And I'm going to turn this into a mixed number, which would be 5 goes into 6, -5 goes into 6, -1 times, and there's 1 left over. So it'd be -1 and 1/5. B. A is 6. B is -5 over -3. 6 plus -5. Remember, they're opposite signs, so we subtract. And it will be 1 over -3. Well, you can't turn that into a mixed number, so here's it in simplest form. C. I have 7 minus, B is -5, over 3 times 6. All right. Again, you need to take the two negatives. Remember, we're adding its opposite, so it's going to be 7 plus +5. And 7 plus +5 is 12. And then we do the bottom part, 3 times 6, which is 18. But that's not simplest form. You need to reduce. So I'm going to divide by, I have to find a number that goes into both. 6 goes into both. 6. So I have 2 over 3. So 2/3. All right. And that's the end of this lesson. Goodbye.